to another episode of Barbells, Bikinis and Balance. I'm your host, Storm Kirkham of Storm Effect Fitness, and today I am going solo to talk to you about everything lifestyle, particularly lifestyle in Dubai. Now, I've been here, this is my 5th year living in Dubai, and I started off in Dubai as a teacher, and then just after COVID, I decided to complete my personal training course because I found a real love and passion for the gym. And I just had this moment where I realized that you can train and it doesn't have to be all consuming. You don't have to sacrifice everything else, such as your social life, family life. And obviously, if your work life is pretty hectic, then I also found that by inputting your training in the week, it does really help to create that balance and you don't end up neglecting your body. So Barbells, Bikinis and Balance was born, the idea was actually created during this period I was doing my personal training course, and I was thinking for potential clients that I could create this program that embodied training, and it also helped people to get a grasp on everything to make it a lifelong lifestyle rather than just like this super intense 8 weeks of like really hardcore dieting with hardcore exercising. And I actually just wanted to create this program that gave people balance rather than anything else. So that's what I did, and I launched Barbells, Bikinis and Balance last year, and it was just the most satisfying, joyful experience to actually run the program and see it all come to fruition. And I had the celebration show that turned into a wellbeing event as well, and I had some amazing ladies come and do some workshops with my clients there as well, and it was just so awesome to see that all come together. And there are plans to do a round 2 in a slightly different format, and yeah, just watch this space for that. So let's talk about lifestyle in Dubai then. And this week I put out on social media some questions I wanted to know what you wanted to know. I wanted to know what you wanted to know about lifestyle here in Dubai. And surprise, surprise, the first question was, what's the nightlife like in Dubai? I have to point out here that my life is worlds apart from what you might have seen on the Netflix show Dubai Bling. However, I do really love the lifestyle I lead in Dubai because mostly it's the weather, I guess, and this then lends itself to the kind of nightlife that you might expect in Dubai. So there's lots of different things. So you have your big clubs, you'll have your kind of beach bars, and you've also got your brunches, and all of these different venues kind of make up the leisure side of life, and this is where most people spend their time at the weekends. So you've got your big clubs, you've got Cavo, you've got Whites, you've got One Oak. There's a big variety of some big clubs, and you know what? I used to go quite a lot to these clubs. I haven't been for a while because since going self-employed, life has looked very different. However, you might get some really big names that are thrown out there, and I'll say, right, tonight at this venue, so and so is playing. But the amount of times I went to these events, and then say it was an 8 p.m. till 3 a.m. event, do not expect the big name to be on the stage until 2 a.m. because they literally leave it until the last minute to bring them on. And most of the time, if they're supposed to be singing or rapping, they will play their tune over the speakers, and then they'll kind of just say a few words in between. It's like you're just looking at them on stage with the microphone in their hand. They're not actually doing a performance. But they are fun. They're fun evenings. And before COVID, in particular, like you would expect to go to these places and dance. Most of these places now, you have to reserve a table and expect to have a pretty big kind of minimum spend on these tables. And then you've got your day to night kind of beach clubs. There's a couple that are big at the moment. So you've got February 30 and you've got Lucky Fish, and they're on Palm West Beach. And they are just these places that you can go and lounge about in the sun in the day in your bikini, and then in the evening it kind of gets a bit lively and people will stay and carry on partying. Oh, I didn't mention the boat parties as well. So for a lot of people, and the best time to, well, yeah, a lot of people will do these, and you kind of leave from this place in Dubai called the Marina, and then it will go around the Palm, it will go around Burj Al Arab, and it will go past JBR. And yeah, you just have a really nice time on the boats. And as much as I've always wanted to do one for my birthday is in January, and they actually do cloud seeding quite a lot in January, which basically means they make it rain. And I've never been able to do one for my birthday. But the best time to do it is really February, March, April, and definitely before it gets way too hot, because yeah, when it gets really, really hot in the summer months, it's just a bit grim. And then lastly, let's talk about the brunch life. So brunch is not your typical brunch in the UK. Brunch here is, well, it's unlimited. Most places are unlimited food and drink. And you can expect to pay anything from like 50 to £80 if they're really top brunch. You might even be spending more than that. And they usually run for between like 3 and 5 hours, and then most places have an after party offer. And yeah, people love the brunch life because you just get more bang for your buck. So you'll pay £60 for your 3-5 hours, and yeah, it's just a really enjoyable time. And there are some really amazing brunches, and then there's some brunches that I guess aren't as good, but it really is the company that you're with that makes it. And yeah, it's just literally, most people will end up working in the week, work, and then at the weekend, most often there's a brunch for someone's birthday, or there's a brunch for some special occasion. And this is where people can kind of get caught in a bit of a vicious circle, because even if you are eating well in the week, if you then go to a brunch every weekend and you are drinking very, very sugary drinks and you are eating the unlimited buffet foods, then you can quickly go over your maintenance calories and end up putting on weight. And there's this thing called the Dubai stone that a lot of people end up just within a few months put this Dubai stone on, because honestly it really does catch up with you if you don't embody your training in the week as well. So that's a bit of a summary, and yeah, you can have some amazing experiences and make some amazing memories with a lot of people. Like I say, really, it doesn't really matter where you go, it's the company that you're with, and that's going to make it. Okay, let's go on to the next question. The next question is, what's the cost of living like in Dubai? Everyone seems to be rich. And I won't lie, like, this question, it does bother me, because I guess it's what people see on social media, right? And it really does depend on what job you're in, what company you're with. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be really, really quite honest with you. When I first got a job out here in Dubai, I really just wanted to work abroad. It wasn't necessarily Dubai. It was going to be like Australia or America or Dubai. And I ended up getting an offer in Dubai. And it was a big life lesson, because on arriving, I came with little to no savings, which was my first error. Even though I had a secure job to go to, What transpired was this particular job did, they told everyone that was joining that they were going to be paid half their salary, and the company was going to keep the other half for the first 2 months. And this was in case people just didn't come back. For example, if they decided to leave the country and just not come back because they didn't like it. And it was kind of the compensation, if you will, for losing you as an employee in an unfair circumstances. So they pay for your visa, and most of the time, if you come with a company, they'll give you a living allowance or they will give you housing. So the company I came to, they gave me half my salary, and yes, they gave me housing. However, it was, it was in a place called Al Waka, and it was literally out in the sticks. So if you think about the marina, where most people like to be and they like to live there, or they'll come to the marina to stay on holiday, Al Waka is, most people might have heard of Murdiff. Al Waka is just a bit further out than Murdiff, and it's about 45 minutes away from the marina. So it really is quite a long stint if you're going to be traveling like to the kind of happening places in Dubai. And also it was a very bare room, and I was in a kind of a 2-bedroom kind of section of the building with someone else, and there was a kitchen that we had to share. It was another girl, and the room literally had a bed frame and a fridge and this huge desk and a chair, and none of it matched, and it just was so bare. And obviously I'm being paid half salary, so I'll be honest with you, I was on about £1,000 for the first 2 months, and there was nothing in this place. And I'd come with literally my 28 kilograms of luggage. And yeah, like I said, I was really silly. I didn't come with any like savings. And I ended up putting quite a lot of things on a credit card. And yeah, that was not the wisest idea. So when people turn around and say everyone seems to be so rich, I guess it's because when they're putting things on social media and it looks like they're in a luxurious place, they're assuming that they've had to pay a lot of money to be there. When in actual fact, most of the places in Dubai are just really well maintained and they look amazing. So even the beaches have 24/7 almost staff that help clean the toilets and the kind of public areas. There is absolutely no litter anywhere. Everything is so clean. And like I said, even the public toilets are just squeaky clean. Everywhere just looks like pristine. And that's because Dubai want that to be their image. That's what they want to be perceived by the rest of the world as, is this pristine, very clean, very welcoming place. And it really, really is. But yeah, not everyone is absolutely minted. And yeah, there are ways of reducing your costs, and you can keep your costs to around the same that you would in the UK. You just have to be quite frugal and you have to look out for deals. So let's talk about some of the different bills that you might have. Okay, so let's start with rent. So if you are going to be renting an apartment, really you can be looking to paying anything from 3,000 dirham upwards. So for the sake of argument, we're just going to say 100 dirhams is the equivalent of £20 just for this podcast. So 100 dirhams is about £20. So on average, I'm probably spending about £800 for my apartment a month, and then on top of that I've got bills to pay. The bills are not too expensive, but I pay about £50. £50 for my Wi-Fi, and then you have something called DUA, which is the electric and water bill, and that's probably about £60 a month. And you have places that are like chiller free, where you get the AC included in the cost of your rent for the apartment. However, if you wanted to, say, live in a 3-bedroom villa, there's I've just had a quick look today at a place in Dubai Hills, and you can be looking to pay just to rent anything from 300 to 400,000 dirhams a year. So that's almost £6,000 a month without bills, and that is quite an expensive rent to be paying. So yeah, you can get a 1-bedroom apartment from about £800, or you could be looking at a 3-bedroom villa that's about £6,000 a month. You can obviously reduce the cost of that if you were to do a share, if you were to go and try and find a villa where there's multiple rooms and lots of people share the rent. And that is one way that people reduce their costs. Let's talk about cars and travel. So you obviously have the metro, and that is a very inexpensive way to get around. However, not everywhere is very close to a metro, and getting to the metro can take some time in itself. So it could be that instead of going from like A to B in a car, you'll end up going A to B to C to D to E, and quite often you'll have to change metros to get to certain places, and it does take a long time. So there was one girl that I used to give a lift to work. She had to wake up, I think on our induction day, she had to wake up at around 4:30 a.m. just to get to work for 7:30 for the induction week, and she literally spent 2 hours changing metros to get to the company. And yeah, I ended up giving her a lift because it was easier and worked out better for her to get a taxi to mine, and then I would drive her to the company. So it can take quite a long time if you're going to do it via metro. And regarding petrol, that is quite cheap. So I probably put about, so I never let my tank go below a quarter tank, and I have a Traj, and it cost me about 20 quid to fill up once it's down to a quarter. So it's very, very reasonable. And regarding the actual car for rent, so you can't get anything really now for under £300 a month. So you're looking at about 1,500 dirham for a car, and that includes insurance, and it includes breakdown cover, and it includes, so you can't really get anything for less than about £300, but that does include insurance, breakdown cover, and it includes services as well. And yeah, one thing I would mention is even if you hit a curb here and there's a slight bit of damage on your car, you're supposed to go to a police station, show them the damage, tell them how it happened, let them know if there was another car involved, and then they give you a reference number for the car company so that it's covered by insurance. And yeah, so even, and then if you do take your car to a garage, they won't accept the car to fix unless you have this number by the police. That's how it should be anyway. And yeah, so car costs, it's okay, and actually it does reduce your travel time if you have a car. Some people just get taxis everywhere, which if they don't have to travel that much. So a lot of people that potentially live in the marina, for example, they might not have to travel that far, and also they have a convenient metro station by them as well, so they might not have to get a car, and they might just travel by taxi. One thing I will also say is there's electric scooters, so if you have to go between metros or metro to your office, a lot of the time there will be electric scooters that you just have to download an app for, and you scan the barcode on the scooter and then it lights up for you and it works for you, and then you can just ride the scooter to work. They have just brought in some new laws about scooter riders though, so yeah, I'm not sure how amazing that is anymore. While we're on the topic of cost of living, let's talk about food shopping and grocery shopping. So you can eat healthy and it is very, very doable. You just have to shop about a bit and find what works for your budget. So if we go to the top ends, which is your Spinneys. So Spinneys is Waitrose, but in Dubai in the UAE, and I think it's their sister store. So you might actually find a lot of Waitrose branded products in Spinneys. And obviously you've got your kind of home comfort foods and things that you might find at home. So Spinneys is literally the only place that I've managed to find English muffins, for example, and they've got crumpets, and they've just got foods that you're used to from in the UK. I will say this though, the fruit and veg can sometimes seem very, very overpriced. For example, I almost paid, I think it was either £10 or more than £10 for a watermelon. So I took the watermelon to get weighed and they put the price sticker on, and it literally said, I think it said 60 dirham, which is like over £10. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't take it. I didn't realise it was that much. I don't know, like, fair play if you can spend £10 on a watermelon, but yeah, I can't afford to spend £10 on a watermelon. So just there's quite a lot of things that are they seem very expensive for what they are. And it's not just in Spinneys, it's in other places as well. And to be honest, I have decided I don't need things, for example, if it's going to cost me that much. So I've actually found a couple of places like Lulu's hypermarket. They are very reasonably priced. And I also have a couple of the little supermarkets down my way. So there's an app called InstaShop, and it does add, I think, a 5% service fee onto things, but you can find loads of products on this for very, very cheap. And I also have a little place on the corner that if I'm desperate for something, I can quickly whiz down and go and grab something. It doesn't have everything, it's just a little supermarket, but for example, chicken breast, 500 grams of chicken breast is about 14 AED, which is like £3. And I can get Greek yogurt for, well, it depends if they have it in, but I can get low-fat Greek yogurt for, again, around the same price. So it's okay. And the vegetables that I find in there are very, very cheap in general. And I always try and get spinach and kale and cucumbers. And if you've been following my social media, I've been having my green juice in the mornings with my celery and apples. And yeah, you can eat very healthy on quite a low budget. The next topic regarding cost of living is clothes. So I was quite shocked when I first arrived in Dubai at the cost of clothes in all the shops. And I had to double take quite a lot when we were in places like Zara, because they do have some gorgeous pieces and they are slightly different to back home or what you can see on display. But honestly, most clothes here are about £10 more expensive because of the import tax. And I think this is why Shein is so popular, because clothes here are just very expensive, and Shein is a go-to for a lot of like Western girls here. However, Dubai has just brought out a new cap, so anything that is imported or bought from outside of the UAE, there's a cap of 300 dirhams, and anything over 300 dirhams you have to pay an import tax on. That's been a contentious topic on all the Facebook groups that I am on. And if we also look quickly at gyms, so gym memberships are quite expensive, and most gyms are the equivalent of about £60 to £100 here in Dubai. And yeah, it can be quite steep, especially when you've got lots of gyms in the UK that you can get a gym membership for about £30. So I would say look out for some offers. For example, Studio Republic have been running a February offer of buy one, get one free, which has made the price per month the equivalent of around £50. So when you sign up with someone, then you get half, like essentially it's half price membership, which is brilliant. While I'm on the topic of gyms, if you have Privily is a membership app, and this gets you access to lots of different hotels, and you can go to the different hotel gyms, and you can also get access to their pools, and you get some discounts in restaurants. And Privily is a great app to have, especially at the weekends, so you can kind of go around the different hotels and experience all the different hotels and pools. There are a number of reasons I've ended up staying in Dubai longer than my intended 2 years. It's almost 5 years now, and from what I understand, this is quite a common thing. People want to come here for 2 years, and then they end up staying for 5, and then it's 10. And let's be honest, the weather here is just gorgeous compared to the UK, where it rains, 60% of the year. And in the winter, I would without fail get a chest infection. I have cold-induced asthma, and I just felt absolutely wrecked every winter. And the people here, it's just a mixing pot of cultures, and it's a really eye-opening experience. You never know who you're going to meet and what opportunities may arise from it. I've met some of the most wonderful people that I can't wait to collaborate on in future projects, and I am inspired by a lot of the people that I've met here. So it is a great place to live. I'll never say never to going back to the UK, but for now, Dubai really does have my heart. And if you're considering moving here, then please do reach out, and I can try and give you as much advice as I can.